What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to episode 9 of the LARNE project, here in Football Manager 2019. Today, it's a bit of a special episode. It's the first LiveCom doubleheader of the series. If you're new to the channel, LiveCom doubleheaders, they come around every so often, and it tends to be when we're in the European competitions, but today things are a little bit different. We have two massive games to play. The first one is going to be against Colerain, and that is in the Irish Cup 6th round, and then immediately preceding that we are going to be taking on Portadown in the Northern Irish League Cup final. So a big game for us there. Interestingly enough, just a little thing of note is the competition final for the Northern Ireland League Cup was rescheduled around the Intermediate Cup, which seems like a weird issue. So Football Manager people out there who might be watching, you might want to look at the preferences and priorities in terms of which competitions kind of supersede which when it comes to scheduling, because at the moment we're going to be playing midweek against Portadown, which normally wouldn't be that bad, but given the fact we've got Colerain on the 9th and I need to win that game because it's in the Irish Cup, it's a little less than ideal. Anyway, since you were last here, 3 games to go through. I'm going to blitz through these fairly quickly because they're in competitions that aren't the most interesting. The first was the Irish Intermediate Cup. We beat Lisburn Distillery. Good little result for us here, fairly convincing, not a lot else to say on that really. The Intermediate Cup is full of reserve teams of the Premiership sides, as well as a few second division sides and of course teams further down the league. I'm a little bit surprised we compete in it. I might be wrong here, but I actually believe in real life LARNE don't even play in this competition. And then the other 2 games, we took on Dergview and the Police Service of Northern Ireland. 2 big league games for us following the splits. The first one against Dergview, a good win, came back from behind, good convincing result there to extend our lead at the top. And then against the Police Service of Northern Ireland, a good performance here. We completely rotated this team to maximise player fitness going into the next 2 games. Oddie grabbed a brace. He was very, very good in this game. And also, Tommy O'Donnell, first ever goal for the club. Great to see him get that. Of course, the 17-year-old was signed for £1,800 earlier on this year. And, he is looking pretty good, isn't he? He's already playing for the Northern Irish under-21s. He's continuing to improve. And, great to see him get off the mark there in his league campaigns. Anyway, just looking at the league table, I don't want to say things are wrapped up just yet, but we are 16 points clear with 8 games remaining. So, barring perhaps the worst collapse ever, the title is pretty much ours, which is great to see. It may even be wrapped up in the next episode for episode 10, depending on how things go. But that's not really the priority right now, is it? You know, we knew we were going to be doing fairly well in the league, or at least I hoped we would be. Really, today we are going to be shifting our focus onto 2 big cups. Now, the Northern Ireland League Cup, the second game today against Portadown, a competition we were expected to reach the semi-finals in. Great to reach the final. Given the fact we're playing Portadown, a team in our division, we should be winning that. The first game, though, today is going to be the 6th round of the Irish Cup against Colerain, of course. A team who we have met before. You may remember them. They're a pretty good team, Colerain, of course. They are the holders of this competition as well, so a little bit of extra zest there. They are currently 6th in the league, and actually I was looking at their recent form. They have seen better days. You can see they lost 4-0 to Linfield a few days ago, really. They've not got a lot of time to recoup after that result. I'm hoping we can inflict further misery on them today. Of course, we did meet them previously in the League Cup, which we have the final of next week. And we won that game 5-0. That, of course, was a live commentary too. It does feel like in domestic competitions we're getting drawn against teams that we've already played against, multiple times, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but yeah, it's just a little bit interesting. We're kind of becoming familiar with a few Premiership sides who we seem to just get drawn against repeatedly. Anyway, in terms of our team for today's game, in goal we are going to go with Devlin. The back 3 is going to be Oisin alongside Graham Kelly and McElhenney. McElhenney still coming back from injury, McElhenney. We'll see how he gets on. I'm a little bit nervous for him going into this game. We're rushing him back a little. He can only play 75 minutes, or at least that's what the fitness test has suggested, but he is, I think, worth taking that risk. Anyway, in terms of other players in our starting 11, as I fumble through the menus, Tilney and Kebby are going to be at fullback. Centre mids, we are going to go with Jeff Hughes alongside Romario Vieira. And the front 3 is Eagles, McDade and Thomas Stewart. It's fairly standard, to be honest. No real injuries to speak of, which is nice to be able to say. There has been some goings on off the pitch. A few players who have been kicking up a fuss about wanting to leave. Cosgrove is one of those. He was being looked at by Crusaders. I've told him that he's not leaving unless they put in a good offer, which we are yet to receive. Alex Evans also a little bit unhappy at the moment. TNS in Wales have been kind of sniffing him around, and that does not make sense. What was the expression I was going around? I was going for TNS have been sniffing around, but they've not been sniffing him around. That sounds rude. But yes, Alex Evans also just a player unsettled right now, so that's one of the reasons why we've got him on the bench today. But anyway, let's get into today's game and see how we get on. Obviously, we're playing at home against Colerain here. We beat them 5-0 previously. This is the big competition. This is the one that I want to win. It's not an easy draw by any means. They are the holders of this competition. And as I kind of alluded to, previously, I almost value this competition more than the final we have coming up after this. But both are equally important as far as I'm concerned. With the league wrapped up, we can kind of shift our focus to trying to win, I feel like, as many cup competitions as possible. Of course, a chance for our second piece of silverware against Portadown in the next game. But right now, we need to focus on the game against Colerain here, which, well, looking at it, 66% of possession after 35 minutes is superb. We have got a stranglehold on this game, but with half-time approaching, not had a single highlight. It's not been a classic so far. You can see they've had 1 shot on target, we've had 5. We are bossing the game, though. We are really penning them back, it seems, and limiting their opportunities, but it doesn't show on the scoreline right now. 0-0 at half-time. One of the worst first-half displays of the series thus far. Boys, I am far from pleased. McDade looking a little bit stressed. I'm just going to tell him calmly that I have faith in him. Can I do that? Oh, you have the ability to make a real difference for Stille. Look at that. He's now a happy, clappy chappy. Now, hopefully, he's going to go out there and score us 5 goals. And I'm going to pat myself on the back and claim that that individual team talk was the game changer. But yes, we have got options on the bench. Of course, 7 options there. We've got the likes of, obviously, Evans and Paul, who are more defensive options, who, well, we shouldn't need to call upon here. As Kelly wins the header, it is Miskimin with the collection there on the cross. And, well, they're going to look to build from the back here, I was going to say, as they hoof it long. Goes to Kebby. Of course, Fuad Sul has left the club. I'm still a little bit sad about that. McLeanley to Stewart. Now what can we do? Romario Vieira to Chris Eagles. Nice build-up play here. Lovely passing. Where's the end product? McDade's there. There is the end product. 8 minutes into this second half, we finally find a way through. David McDade, his 21st of the season. Thomas Stewart as well with the assist. 2 players who, of course, were here when we joined the club, who have largely remained uncontested as our dream striking duo. I know, well, look at the build-up play there. Lovely passing around. The ball dinked to that back post. No real power on the cross, just nice direction, and McDade able to make meaningful contact with the header and drive it goalwards. Looking at their system, they are switching to this slightly more attacking 4-2-3-1. Which actually I feel like kind of matches quite nicely against our system, so I'm not too worried here. 13 minutes left in this game. They're making a few subs. 10 minutes left. Maybe we should make some subs. Chris Eagles hasn't had the best game, so I'll bring in Mandanda for him. Romario Vieira has also not had the best game, and he's kind of coming back from injury. I'm going to bring in Kevin McGrath, I think, to play that deeper midfielder role for us, kind of the ball winner. I think that's a role that he's really capable of playing. Even if he isn't the most comfortable centre mid, his attributes really just tailor him perfectly to the role. Anyway, time is slipping away here. There could be one less sting in the tail. This would go to extra time, if I'm not mistaken, if they were to draw even, although we'll hope to extend our lead. What a ball by Mandanda. David McDade should have scored, should have wrapped it up there and then. But fortunately for us, there is just 30 seconds left on the clock. Kelly nods it down. Oisin hits it. It's offside, apparently. What is that offside for? Is there someone interfering with the keeper? I mean, he can't be offside, so it's not that. It doesn't even matter. The last kick of the game, an offside goal. What was the offside given for? It was given for Stewart, who apparently was interfering with the keeper. That did not look offside, to be honest, but it doesn't matter. A 1-0 win. We blooming spanked them, to be honest, in terms of stats. It probably should have been a few more. Apparently, we were predicted to win the game, so good to match that expectation. And well, now we march on into the game against Portadown in just 3 days' time. And you know what? I've not done this in a little while. Let's just have a little ramble, shall we, as we go through things here. Mark Holmes has picked up a little bit of an injury. We signed him this year and loaned him back to Dergview, who is second in the league. He's been their key player. So for him to be out for 5 to 7 weeks is bad news for them. But yeah, I talked a little bit about players being unhappy. You can see Cosgrove wants to go to Crusaders, Alex Evans wants to go to TNS. You know, there's a few players who are unhappy about wanting to go on loan. Armani Daly, of course, a few of these players I covered in the extra episode that we did of the LARNE project. It was episode 4X, I believe was the technical name for the episode. And also Jack Fox, players who want to go out on loan, but no one wants to have them on loan. So I'm a bit stuck as to what to do with them. Obviously, the transfer window has now closed, at least in England, so it's unlikely that McElhaney is going to be leaving us, which is good, because I really, really like him as a player. He's been very, very good for us. That goal apparently was a controversially disallowed goal, but, well, it doesn't matter, does it? It does not matter, because we were already through. Right, I actually want to play the same team for this second match. Our player fitness is a little bit of a cause for concern, so I'm going to set our players to rest for 2 days here, try and get match condition back. Obviously a little bit unfortunate the way these two games have fallen within a matter of days of each other, but it's something that we've been kind of used to over the course of this year. I don't know if the scheduling in Ireland is as it is here. It seems absolutely mental, if I'm honest, just how tightly packed fixtures are, but we'll try and make do. You can see here, looking at kind of some of our scout recommendations, I have been looking at striking options. And the reason I've been looking at striking options is because whilst we have a few very good strikers, it'd be nice to get a few more in. One of the players I looked at was this guy, Gavin Reeves, who was playing for Tranmere. He's gone to Celtic at the end of his contract. He did not want to join us, which was a bit of a shame because I would have liked him. The other player I'm currently looking at is Harry Emery, who he's not the best when it comes to his finishing, but kind of technically wise, he's very, very good. I think we could make an offer for him. If we go to approach to sign, yeah, he doesn't want to join us. I'm hoping that if we can secure promotion sooner rather than later, a few of these players who are a bit unsure, shall we say, about joining us might be a little more keen. That would be the dream, I feel like. Just because we're a little bit limited in terms of the players we can sign. Obviously, we've lost a few players here and there. And there's players who I would definitely like to sign, who my scouts have flagged up in front of me, obviously, with the restrictions we've got as well in terms of the player age. In some cases, there's a window of opportunity. You know, my scouts spot a player who I really like the look of, but if he's 18 years old, I've got to make the move quick to sign him. So that's another kind of element to this save, which is maybe going to prove kind of challenging as we go through. Just that, you know, opportunity to sign a player isn't going to be forever. Sometimes with Football Manager, you spot a player and think, well, I can't get them now, but down the line, you know, maybe they'll crop up again and be available for us. You know, if I want a player, I've got to go for them. Anyway, the Irish Cup quarter-final is here. There's a few non-league teams like Bangor who are still in it. A few teams who we're kind of familiar with. Cliftonville, a team who I'd like to avoid if possible. Let's put on automatic draw for the suspense. This is the quarterfinals. Bangor first out the hat. I wouldn't mind them. We're not going to get them. It's going to be Warren Point out. Portadown. Are we going to come up against a familiar face? We're not. I mean, we beat Glentoran previously. Are we going to get drawn against them again? We're not. We're going to get Dergview. To be honest, that is... I don't want to say it's an underwhelming draw, but our record against Dergview is pretty good. Their team is okay. You can see they have two players who are a real standout. Mark Holmes, who we've signed and loaned back to them earlier on this year, and also Sam Brown, who we've signed and loaned back to them. Both those players, if I'm not mistaken, can't play against us. So that kind of works in our favour. But yes, every time we've met this team, we've done pretty well. So that's a kind draw, and it's actually making me wonder if I will even live com that game. You can see we beat them 3-0 not that long ago. In fact, we did draw to them. So maybe I'm talking prematurely here, but I feel like when we have met them, we've done pretty good against them, all things considering. We can see how things lay out. Oh, actually, we did beat them 3-1 last week. How did I forget? I was getting confused, thinking a result was missing. There was one missing. So yeah, in terms of as draws go, that's about as kind as it gets. And you can see we actually play them in the league the week before we are going to meet them. So that's a little interesting there. Certainly the favourites you'd imagine to get out of that, particularly being drawn as the home side in that competition. Anyway, let's march onwards. Portadown next in the League Cup final, being played at a neutral venue. As I said, a bit odd that this game's been played midweek. It's been moved around. A little bit of just off-the-pitch news, actually. Our team have secured the top spot in the Development League North. Not entirely surprising, but still good to see them lock it down. You can see Severio and also Edwards, the top two goal scorers in the competition, with Aaron Black in behind. Cadet who of course has gone out on loan now. I talked about that a couple of episodes ago. He is still top of the assist charts with Carl Stewart up there as well. Chris Paul, who of course has been a bit of a breakthrough name, kind of now regularly appearing on the bench, also been a very good performer in this competition. So yeah, good to see our team perform well. Not entirely surprising. In terms of clean sheets, Fergal Hale Brown is top of the charts, and you'll notice here he is actually on loan now at Colerain. To the end of the year. He's played one game for them and conceded 4, so it's not the best loan for him thus far. But yeah, they wanted to loan him. He was our development league goalkeeper, and with the league wrapped up, and well, with the potential to get first team opportunities at the division above us, it just made sense to loan him out, really. Anyway, let's get onwards and forwards into this. We've got an offer for Reece Kelly here. You know what? You can have Reece Kelly on loan if you really want him, Celtic. What else have we got here? A few players developing okay. Tommy O'Donnell has been unhappy about his training. He's still improving, so I don't care. Oisin, what are you complaining about? What are you complaining about? He's complaining about the focus being on his passing and it not benefiting him. The fundamental issue here is I play with kind of quite a ball-playing orientated system. He has to get good with the ball at his feet. So as long as it isn't impacting his training performance, I'm going to keep playing him and training him in the passing department. McGrath is also a little bit unhappy, but that's more team training stuff, so I'm not as concerned about that. Of course, with McGrath, training him to play centre-back, I'm actually kind of curious to see how well he can adapt to that role. But anyway, let's get into today's second game. Normally I cut out the fluff between episodes, or rather between matches in these double headers. If you've enjoyed me rambling today, let me know in the comments. You know, let me know that you've got to this point and you've not just clicked between the two matches, because I'm always conscious that people just do that with these kind of videos. Yeah, we're going to get into this, shall we? We're taking on Portadown. It's a big game for us. Let's see how we get on. So actually, we are going to play in our away kit, despite being drawn as the home side in this neutral venue tournament. This is the Northern Irish Football League Cup. This is a competition we've never won. I say that, but that's the case with pretty much every competition we go into, with the exception of the Steels and Sun Cup and Intermediate Cup, which, well, they don't matter so much. I don't want to say they're tin pot, because we are playing to win one of them still, but they're not the games that matter so much. Or rather the competitions that matter so much. In terms of team news for today's game, I'm going to stick with the team I think that played the last game. I might bring in Mandanda for Eagles. Do I want to do that? Is that mad? I feel like Eagles is too good not to play, to be honest. You look at his recent average ratings. They are off the charts. An 8.02. A little bit less disappointing in his last 2 games, but I have faith in him to turn it around. So yeah, going unchanged. I feel like this is settled as my best 11. I do quite like this team, obviously, with the exception of Oisin, Kebi, Romario Vieira and Eagles. The rest of the players, all players who, of course, play for LARNE in real life. I guess there's always a temptation when you have as much money as we have just to go out there and sign a crazy amount of players. Of course, when we joined the squad, there were only 13 or 14 players. I have bolstered up the overall kind of squad size quite significantly. But it's good to see some of the more experienced players who, of course, play for LARNE, still very much key players in the team. Anyway, let's get into today's game. It is being played at a neutral venue, which is interesting because it doesn't look like the biggest stadium in the world, but, well, let's see how we get on here. We're taking on Portadown. We're of course, playing in our purple kit. Someone let Eagles know. Someone let Eagles know we're playing in purple because he's kicked it straight to the guy in red. But, well, we get let off the hook, actually, there. That was a clear-cut chance within the first 20 seconds. Maybe I can't afford to be as relaxed about this game as I want to be. Oisin, nice header away into touch. And, well, we dealt with that quite nicely in the end, didn't we? After, well, a really good chance, to be honest, for Portadown. You'd expect them to take that chance that early on in the game. And, well, they could have been 1 goal to the good. Let's make no mistake here. We need to wake up a little bit. Portadown, a team that whilst we've beaten on a few occasions, have very much proven to be a bit of a thorn in our side at times. Not an easy team to overcome. Oh my gosh, McLeany, what a goal. I mean, take that. Take that by McElhaney. I swear I change the pronunciation of his name constantly, but Shane. Maybe Shane's easier. It's a great header. Keeper, you thought, might be able to keep it out. Unfortunately, just couldn't wrap his arm around it and kind of spoon it off the goal line. Makes its way into the back of the net, in off the woodwork, I think. We're a goal to the good here, winning in the League Cup. The expectation was to get to the semi-final. We want to do better than that, though. And he has another chance. He could have scored a second. The header narrowly over the crossbar in the end. And wow, another chance. It is relentless right now on their goal after a good early spell. Oh my gosh, we blocked it there. McDade, no real options. Goes to Stewart. That looked like a good tackle to me in 3D. It's been given as a penalty. I'm not going to complain. I think it's going to be McDade to take it. It is indeed. Can he convert from the spot? Can he double our lead? He steps up. He hits it. Of course he can. Finds the back of the net. And, well, not for the first time this episode. He's hit the back of the net with a strike. And we are 2 goals to the good. We're looking really good here in this game. After a nervous opening and, well, a clear-cut chance that really could have changed the whole complexion of the tie. You feel like if Portadown get that early goal, suddenly we're in trouble. We've relaxed into this game, and you'd have to say, looking at the stats, we are in the ascendancy here as an interception's missed. Stewart's there! Smashes it over the crossbar. Got to hit the target, son. Got to hit the target in the one-on-one there. Unfortunately for us, that was not what was required in the situation, and it was fired with way too much power, cleanly over the bar. They've got a chance here, maybe. No, Devlin going to collect. Lovely stuff by him in goal. Can we build from the back here? Going to go to Tilney, who, well, pumps the ball forward to McDade. What a ball that is. The finish, underwhelming. Can he get a second bite of the cherry? No, he cannot. Late set piece here. Eagles back post. Oisin scores. In fact, it's not Oisin. Apparently it's Romario Vieira. Back from injury. Grabs our 3rd goal of the first half. We are in cruise control right now. I said after the semi-final, you'd back whoever won the semi-final between ourselves and Ballymena to be the team to beat in the final. You know, we as the best team in the Championship, them as the last team in the Premiership. And while Portadown showing why they've been a little bit off the pace this year, they were predicted to be our big title rivals. Right now they're down in 4th. And we are just a class above them, it seems. 3-0 at half-time. We are just cruising at the moment to what would be our 2nd piece of silverware of the season and our first. Well, I wanted to say our first of real significance, but that might be doing a disservice to the County Antrim Shield, because that was a competition that is kind of considered important by our board, and indeed by a lot of you guys who mentioned it in the comments section on YouTube. But nevertheless, I feel like the League Cup maybe is a step above. Maybe I'm underestimating the County Antrim Shield significance, but to me, a League Cup just sounds quite impressive, really. McLeany, big ball forward, trying to get it to Stewart, but they deal with it here. Kebby now with it from right back. Dinks it over. Lovely ball. Options in the middle for you, Stewart. McDade's there. I don't know how that's gone over the line. It might have been an own goal. Adam McCallum was kind of forced into making a tackle of any kind, just really trying to stop the initial shot being made. And it's, well, taken a somewhat fortuitous bounce, but it finds its way into the back of the net for us. You can see the ball pulled across here. You'd have to say McDade is probably going to bury that. But in the scramble in the 6-yard box, the ball somehow trickles across the line. And it's game over. I don't want to say it for you Portadown fans out there, the few of you who may be watching, but it feels like this is LARNE's trophy now to lose. We're on the attack again. We want 5. Kebby dinks it in. McDade. Of course it's McDade. Kebby with a assist. A lovely cross in. 2 goals in 5 minutes after the hour mark. That is all she wrote. I'm going to make some changes here. I'm going to take off Eagles for Mandanda. McDade's on a hat-trick, so I won't take him off, but I'm going to bring in Brandon Oddie for Thomas Stewart. I think I might also make my last sub of the game. I'm going to bring in Carl Stewart for Romario Vieira. Stewart's been complaining just a little bit about lack of first-team football, but he's still a player who I do think is a valuable part of my plans. So I want to keep him happy, and I feel like giving him some football here is probably a good opportunity to, well, maybe qualm some of his concerns when it comes to his first team kind of game time. Anyway, Portadown maybe going to try and poop the party a little. I'd love to keep on to the kind of keep hold of the clean sheet. It's something that we seem to have a real difficulty with, to be honest. We went through a really long period earlier on in the season where we did keep a lot of clean sheets, but besides that, they've been a little hard to come by. Anyway, Portadown, I mean, they know that they're down and out at this point, playing for some pride maybe. 20 minutes left, McQuaid bringing the ball forward down this right wing for them. Options in the middle, dinks it in there. Oisin, lovely header away to Hughes, who is now going to clear it up the field. Oddie, of course, now on the pitch. McDade is going to want a hat-trick in the final, you'd imagine. I do believe we have a few former Portadown players in our side as well, so they're all going to want to get in on the action. Kebby whips it. McDade's there. It is a hat-trick for him. It's another assist for Kebby. And it's another ball from that right-hand side. So much of our build-up players come on that wing. It's 6-0 here. It's a little bit embarrassing for Portadown, you'd have to say. Elliot Kebby, just no one closing him down. No one putting him under any pressure. Dinks it in. McDade at the back post. A calm, collected header that, well, didn't really need a whole lot of power generating in it. He just had to direct it the right way. I mean, it's getting a little embarrassing now. Portadown maybe going to look for one goal for pride. McQuaid's through. Devlin denies his ginger compatriot in the ginger-on-ginger action in the 18-yard box. Oh, well, 15 minutes left. We want another. We want 7. Can we make it happen? Kebby to Stewart. To Oddie. Lovely build-up play here. Jeff Hughes in the final. Oh, it would have been lovely for him to get one. The club legend, I mean, if he hits the back of the net, we're on the pitch. Unfortunately, his shot not quite on target. But it doesn't matter, does it? It is LARNE FC's day today. I mean, we're still looking for the 7th. Surely not. Oddie. Kebby. He wants another assist as Kebby. Stewart, lovely build-up play here. Oddie, can he pull it back to Kebby? Whipping another ball of quality. So he does. Mandanda's shot blocked. Would have loved Mandanda to get a goal, because ever since we signed him and then he got that longish term injury, you know, the 6 to 7 weeks that he was out with knee ligament issues, he's just been, well, not off the pace, but with Chris Eagles playing so well, he's not been as prevalent in the first team as perhaps you might have expected. They have actually got a chance here. We deny the ball coming in. I mean, it's the 89th minute. Portadown, just give it up. Give up the fight. Roll on your backs and die. It's all over. You're fighting a losing battle. Devlin gets another save for the collection. You'd have to say, just looking at the stats, they've had clear-cut chances, Portadown. That's perhaps the most mad thing here. We've just been so clinical with ours. You can see they've had 3 clear-cut chances. We've had 3 of our own and 3 half chances, but we've just taken every opportunity. And while Oddie wants to get in on the action, maybe, going to be denied by the assistant, unfortunately. 7 is not going to happen today, but 6-0 is how it finishes. What a performance that is. The Northern Irish League Cup is ours. I've got my green suit on for the occasion. We're celebrating it. And, well, you've got to enjoy it, haven't you? What a win that is against Portadown. A massive, massive team performance by the whole team. Man of the match, not entirely surprising, does go to David McDade. What a player he has been for us this year. 10 goals in the league. In cup competitions, he's got 11 in 12, though. And, well, he added more today than he has, I think, in any other game. I think that might be his first hat-trick in cup competitions this year. And what a performance that is. One to remember. You can see some bonuses being paid out to players. A famous double. Let's make it a triple or a quadruple. If we win the league, we'll be looking at the Intermediate Cup and the Irish Cup with kind of serious thoughts that maybe we can just go out there and do the unthinkable. You can see biggest overachievers was apparently Dundela. Underachievers was Glenavon, who, well, they lost, as you can see here. Oh, wait, no, that's Glentoran. Glenavon and Glentoran are confusing. But yeah, Glenavon, who did you lose to? Top of the league and running comfortably through. They lost to Crusaders in the Irish Cup. Who did they lose to in the League Cup? They lost to Newington Youth. I mean, shout out to the youth out there, repping it for teams in the 3rd tier. But yes, why am I getting distracted by that? Silverware is what matters, isn't it, really? Let's be honest. We lift the cup. We're going to add it to our trophy cabinet. Hopefully it's the first of many Northern Irish League Cups to come our way over the coming seasons here at LARNE FC. And hopefully there's going to be more silverware on the horizon in the not-so-distant future. In terms of when we'll be back, I don't think we'll do that Irish Cup quarter-final. We've got a few easier games coming up where you will probably have the title wrapped up by the next time you're here. I think realistically speaking, it's going to be either the semi-final of the Irish Cup or maybe one of the later league games. I am conscious of the fact that actually throughout this entire season, I think the only game that we've commentated in the league was the very first game of the season. But given how obviously the league campaign's gone, how comfortable it's been, and the fact we're playing against, you know, teams in the league above us in cup competitions, that's felt like a more natural place to focus on. You can actually see in our last 7 games, we've conceded just 1 goal. So we are back in red-hot form, and hopefully we can keep that going. Not that far off that clean sheet run that we had of 8 matches in a row between November and December. But anyway guys, that is going to wrap up everything from me today. Let me know what you made of this format for the double header episodes. As much as I know some of you guys love my voice, love to hear me ramble, I do know that people do like to just skip between the games in these kind of episodes, and so sometimes I'm a little mindful about just cutting out the fluff in between. But regardless, I will see you guys in the next one. Next time, episode 10, the first landmark of sorts of the series. Hopefully it'll be an episode to remember, and hopefully you'll remember to tune in as well. It is me, Jack. Thank you for watching, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.